What up, world? What up, world? I am Mr. Black Style, Rochester, New York. So I wanted to get on this evening because I had a conversation with someone about hell is here. So I wanted to talk about hell is here because I feel like hell is here is a very important topic of discussion. Now, the reason why I made this little snippet, that's what it is. It's just a snippet. You know, the reason why I made this snippet is because you have some that believe it's heaven on the other side. And you have some that believe when you're dead, you're dead. So I want to talk to both sides this evening. Let's talk to the when you're dead side. If that's the way you feel, that's fine. But how you living? Are you living in your heaven? Are you living in your hell? Can you see and recognize the heaven and the hell that's around you? You know, I see a lot of people in heaven and in hell. I see a lot of angels. Do you see those? Or do you say we live a life of hell and that's it? And that's it. What is this earth like to you? Where does your hope come from? When you're feeling optimistic, what do you call that energy? If you're feeling pessimistic, what do you call that energy? Do you recognize the energies on earth? I'm just asking a lot of questions because I got curiosity. And for the ones who feel like heaven or hell is on the other side, how you living? Are you living in your heaven or are you living in your hell? Do you see angels on earth? You know, do you see the devil on earth? Do you see God on earth? Or are you just waiting to get to the other side? You know, now this is something that I just, it sparks my brain, you know, because when I did Hell is Here, the reason why I did it the way that I did it is because in a heroin baby, is that heaven or is that hell? A drug addict, is that heaven or is that hell? Depression, is that heaven or is that hell? Murder, is that heaven or is that hell? You know, these are some important questions. How do we decipher our heaven and our hell? Or do we just wait till we die? Now, for the sake of talking with y'all, because everybody has a lot of different questions inside with themselves, the spiritual warfare. So, just a question. Say for the ones who believe when you're dead, you're dead. There's no heaven, there's no hell. What if you just don't know? So, what you living like? Are you living like your God or your devil? If you had to weigh yourself on a scale, how would you weigh it? You know? And for the ones that believe that there's God on the other side, are you putting in the work that you need to put in? Because let me tell you, if we're trying to walk in that direction, we have to reflect the direction we're trying to walk in. And this is for everybody, including me. I'm human. I fall short, you know? I'm supposed to fall short because I'm not perfect. You know? You're supposed to fall short because you're not perfect. So I want people to check out Hell is Here, you know? Because I'm trying to put it in a perspective. And I also believe a heaven is here, is on the rise for you. But I need to let people see that hell is here. And when you're living in the pit of hell, how are you going to find your heaven? You know, think about that. How you going to find your heaven? When you're in a bad time and you feel optimistic that you're going to make it through, that's you feeling and living heavenly. Long as you have the willingness, the strength, determination, and drive, that's a heavenly spirit. You're going to make it through. If you feel like, oh man, things are too hard, I can't do it, I'm never going to make it, talk down on myself as much as I can. What spirit you think that is? Definitely not a heavenly spirit. So let's work with these spirits on earth. So when we get to the other side, we put in our work. We treated earth as our heaven or our hell. You know what I mean? Depending on your perspective. Because this is only my perspective. This is only my perspective. You know what I'm saying? So, for the ones who think that hell doesn't exist, heaven doesn't exist, for the ones that want to make it to the other side, you have the same exact goal, right? To be that and feel that and believe that on earth. So when it's your time, you put in your work. You know, and everything is based on perspective. So if you feel these ways, I mean, we can have a conversation. I'm not the one to judge anybody for how they feel about whatever they feel because it works for them. But because I'm talking to y'all, I'm just only explaining what works for me. You know, so put things in a greater perspective. Find your heaven on earth. You know what I mean? Because the energies are there. Don't wait till you're gone. Don't wait till you're gone. You know what I'm saying? They say, how does somebody live forever? It's this word called legacy. If people continue talking about you, you're going to always live on. But when people stop talking about you, then it's over. It's over. And, I was talking about my grandfather. My grandfather been gone for over 30 years. I was talking about him. He was alive in the room. As soon as I spoke of him, he was alive. He was alive. You know? So all these people have all these expectations of the unknown, but they don't realize that God speaks to them every day. And if we use our free will and make the decisions based on what he tells us every day, we'll make better decisions. We have to understand that we're human. So sometimes we don't listen, or we get distracted, or, or whatever life has to offer. But for the most part, are you putting in the work? Me sitting here talking to you right now, this is me putting in the work. And then when this mic is off and the camera's closed, am I still putting in the work? And it's work, you know? But this is a job I like going to because it challenges me to be better, you know? It challenges me to be humble. I believe there is something greater than myself, you know? I believe that. And that's what my heaven looks like. It keeps me optimistic, knowing that it's somebody greater than myself and it's somebody greater than you. Because if all I had to focus on was you and me and that's it, that's hell. That's hell. So I enjoy believing in something that's greater than me, having faith in something other than you. You know? And it's no disrespect to you, but you better be thinking the same thing about me. You understand? That I wouldn't want to change. That I wouldn't even want to complicate my brain trying to figure. Listen, that is not for me, but this is just me talking. However you do, it's approved by you. Stamp, sealed, delivered. Do your thing. I look at you no different, no matter what your direction you choose to go. You know? Yeah, so Black and Mo just wanted to get on and tell everybody, check out that Hell on Earth, man. Check out that Hell on Earth. This is me just trying to put some stuff together, trying to depict a picture, show you what I'm talking about, give you a greater understanding. Stop taking yourself off the hook. So a lot of people do. Put themselves on the hook, or take themselves off the hook, rather. You know, it's easy for us not to have accountability. So they'll use words like conscience, subconscious thought. They'll use words like, man, something told me not to do that. Because these type of things take them off the hook. I'm going to put you on the hook real quick. When you say to yourself, man, something told me not to do that, that's God told you not to do that. And you decided to do it anyway. That was it. God told you not to do it. You decided to do it anyway. And then you all jammed up. And now you want to say, man, something told me not to do that. You know what I'm saying? People find a lot of little weasel ways to take themselves off the hook. To take themselves off the hook. No accountability of the decisions that we choose to make become the consequences that we choose to suffer. And we only human. We all have free will, but you know what I'm saying? God and the devil talking to us, and we have to make the decision. Simple as that. But everybody want to complicate things. Everybody want to complicate it. When it's really simple. It's not much confusion in it. You know what I'm saying? God talked to every one of us individually. But you will call it a thought. Subconscious thought. Man, I wasn't even thinking that, and this thought popped in my brain. You understand? But we'll call it all kind of things to take us off the hook. to take away our accountability personally, you know? But that's just me ranting because that's all part of that hell on earth, you know what I'm saying? Hell is here, you know what I'm saying? It's all part of that hell is here. So I just wanted to, plant the seed, plant the seed, get a greater understanding, you know. But as always,